And welcome to the inaugural episode of the Round Ball podcast. My name is George. I am the admin of the Round Ball Breaks Facebook group page and will be your host in this podcast. Would like to welcome everyone that are listening. Would like to welcome everyone, hopefully, from all across Australia, not only Australia, but internationally. But I might be getting a little too ahead of myself. I've got a really big episode scheduled for today. I'm going to be telling you all what to expect on this podcast. First and foremost, it's mainly going to base around the hobby that is soccer cardboard. Well, it's not really a hobby anymore, isn't it? It's more of a I don't know, I think you'd call it an investment portfolio. It's definitely a market that has grown in stature and has definitely been bigger than what it has been in the past, especially since the pre-pandemic world. I'll be talking about that, guys. I'll be talking about the big fish, the hottest cards, the hottest players. I'll be talking about myself and how I became a big card collector, especially in soccer. I'll be giving my tips on who to invest in, my tips as well on people that have come into the hobby to invest, as well as tips on people that have come into the hobby to personally collect or build a PC for specific players. I don't think I am the most most experienced person to talk about it, but I'm here to help anyone that's getting into the hobby as it has grown in stature. And I'll also be talking about my picks. I'm going to call them Round Balls picks, which doesn't sound too flattering, but trust me, it's a good thing. Basically going to be talking about future stars in various leagues around the world, and I will start that off later on in the podcast with a certain league that will be announced a bit later on. But without further ado, guys, we might get started on basically this podcast, and I'd just like to spend a couple of minutes to talk about myself and about my journey into the hobby. I've been personally collecting cards since I was born. My father was a very, very huge influence on my card collecting life. We mainly collected AFL. My dad loved collecting NBA. Unfortunately, it was during the junk wax era, and it was 2 years after the prestigious Michael Jordan rookie year, which he ever since I told him and keep telling him how high that Michael Jordan rookie card has risen to, he always likes to kick himself and always likes to play a bit of hindsight, like we all do. Why didn't I collect cards 2 years or 3 years earlier? But that's just the way the cookie crumbles when it comes to this. No one expected the hobby to rise, but I have been collecting. I'm 30 years old now. I have been collecting since then. I sort of took a bit of a hiatus for around 5 years due to work commitments and obviously life getting very, very busy. That was between the ages of about 24, 25 to 29, which is what I turned last year. And once getting back into the hobby, like most of us did during the pandemic, I sort of dabbled around Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA cards. I'm a big NFL fan, a big baseball fan, but just realized that I didn't quite enjoy it as much. And then when I stumbled across World Football cards, it just spoke to me, and I've been enjoying it ever since. I've been collecting, I've been investing, I've basically been loving every single moment, and that spurred my decision to also make a breaks page, Round Ball Breaks, which is the parent of this podcast, the Round Ball podcast. And I've done that since July. I've been enjoying it ever since. Everyone that I know has enjoyed the breaks. Everyone I know has enjoyed the community feel. It goes in waves. It's a bit up and down the community as it has become a bit more serious. Like I said earlier, it's not really a hobby anymore. It's a chance for people to make some money. It's a chance for people to also build on their collection, albeit of a more expensive nature. The bank account will be hit a little more than it probably would have this time last year or any time before March 2019. March 2020. I always forget that 2020 was a year. But that's basically my journey, guys. I'm PCing now, world football, and I can't say enough how much I love it. Just to give you an insight of who I do personally collect, I'm a big Manchester United fan, so I like collecting Manchester United players. I especially love the vintage aspect of collecting. I'm a big fan of the of stickers and cards as well. Obviously, stickers were the main thing when it came to football. The cards didn't really get released until the mid to late 90s, and stickers was all the craze. And then Panini got their hands on the licensing with football cards, and it's just been going gangbusters ever since. It was Merlin's, it was Topps, and now it is Panini. But I've been enjoying it. Like I said, Manchester United players that I like to personally collect are of more of an expensive taste. I've always loved David Beckham. My favourite player of all time, though, is actually Ruud van Nistelrooy. So I've been enjoying collecting his cards. Cristiano Ronaldo, in my opinion, is the greatest player of all time, or the greatest player that I've ever seen, and I like collecting him. I just got my hands on a 2006 World Cup card about a couple of weeks ago, and I'll be cherishing that. I'll be grading that because in my opinion, he's the undisputed champion of the game. Whoever wants to debate me on that, more than happy to, but I'll be fighting and batting for Cristiano Ronaldo. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, vintage stickers, vintage cards, Manchester United. Talking about modern players, really big fan of Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes, and a non-Manchester United player that I really enjoy collecting is Jamie Vardy. I believe he's very, very underrated, and I love enjoying collecting his cards. I think he's the greatest Premier League striker that I've ever seen. I know that there's a lot of competition with the Alan Shearers of the world, Dennis Bergkamp, Thierry Henry, of course as well, Cristiano Ronaldo, but in my opinion, Jamie Vardy is just the complete modern forward, and I really do enjoy collecting his cards. That being said, I'm going to move on now on what to expect from this podcast. So basically, guys, every week I'll be highlighting a specific league in Europe or the Americas or Asia, mostly Europe. And for each of the leagues, I will highlight up to 5 players, maybe more depending on the league, to watch or keep an eye on for anyone out there listening between the ages of 16 to 21, for either investment purposes or to start a new personal collection. If you are a new collector and you don't know who to collect, I'll be nudging you in the right direction for some players that I personally enjoy between the age bracket of 16 to 21 for a good investment opportunity, good bang for your buck, and also players just to encourage watching, because there's nothing better than actually watching the world game, and putting these players up might give you a bit more awareness, and it might nudge you in the direction of watching certain leagues that you wouldn't have ever dreamed of watching, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help not only the current collectors and people that have been in the hobby for years, but the new collectors. There are new collectors coming out each and every day. There are people that are very aware of how the market has boomed, and with that comes an influx of new people. So that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help those that have stumbled upon the podcast and are having some issues of who to collect and how to go around things and go about things properly. I'm here for that, and that's what I'll be doing for every league. I'll be basically talking about various leagues and nudging you in the direction of some players to look out for. I'll highlight as well their first cards and stickers, also their what I like to call their true rookie stickers, plus their current prices on eBay and recent 130 point comps. I'll be highlighting the main results over the period since the last podcast as well, just some highlighted results across Europe mainly, as well as some big individual performances. I'll also add in some special segments every now and then, including rookie reports, rookie rankings, special conversation and talks on issues happening in the world of football, and I'll be bringing in guests to help me do that as well. But that is basically what it is going to be. It's basically just going to be a highlight of the upcoming stars to watch, their investment potential, their personal collecting potential, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. But after this short break, we will talk about the actual hobby, the current state of soccer cards, the big fish, and tips on investing, and for those that want to start a new personal collection. Well, we are back, and the next 5 or so minutes, maybe 5 to 10, are going to be talking about the hobby and the current state of soccer cards or football cards, and also talking about the big fish that everyone's obviously looking for, but you guys might all be aware of those. I'll just confirm, and I'll give you some really outlandish prices that certain cards and stickers of said players are going for. But I'd like to start by going through the eBay 2020 card report, which has been distributed across many areas and across many platforms. And I'll just go through the main stats to show you how astronomical this hobby has gone up. And we'll start off with the overall trading card category on eBay, which is a good indicator to show the rise. And it's basically gone up by 142%, which is a ridiculous amount. And over 4 million more cards have been sold over the last 12 months across all sporting categories, across all trading cards. That is a ridiculous amount. That just shows you and highlights the popularity that the hobby has now become. In fact, there are a lot of articles out there that highlight the Wall Street investors have actually taken their money out of stocks and are putting them into soccer cards and treating soccer players and their cards like stocks, which is ridiculous. And it's more importantly gone to soccer and football. It's grown by 1,586%, which is more than any other sport category in trading cards on eBay over the 2020 calendar year, which is ridiculous, which is unbelievable. And I think it just shows that the American market is very well, I would say as well the European market, but more importantly the American market is influencing the total overall trading card market. And it'd be interesting to dissect that percentage over the last 12 months, because I feel like basketball cards is the pinnacle of the market, of the soccer market, of the trading card market. And then you've also got your NFL with Tom Brady. You've got Major League Baseball with your Derek Jeters, Alex Rodriguez. You've got a lot of good rookies coming up. And then people are going, hold on, the world game is football. And I don't think it clicked until maybe May, June. And that's when prices started to absolutely skyrocket. Not only with trading cards, but for hobby boxes and soccer boxes. Just recently, Lionel Messi's cards, the 2006 World Cup trading box card. I bought a trading card box for about just under $2,000. I'd say about 2-3 months ago. They now have risen to $5,000. So just the bubble is expanding, and I don't see when it's going to collapse. I don't see when it's going to pop. So I feel like it's just going to go up and up and up, because there are so many players in world football. There are so many teams, so many leagues, so many countries, compared to the NBA where there's only 30 teams, compared to the NFL where there's only 32 teams. It's just going to keep expanding, and baseball with only 30 teams. So with world football, I think everyone is going to realize that the biggest market in the world is football. It is the global sport, and that's just I think it's just going to continue to expand. As ridiculous as it sounds, I feel like it's only the beginning. And the big fish, which I've noted, most of you know. So the first one is Lionel Messi, Argentinian. If you don't know him or Cristiano Ronaldo, you're living under a rock, and you shouldn't be listening to this podcast. Full stop. Just close it, delete it, and away you go. But Lionel Messi, here's an example of how crazy the card market has gone. He's PSA 10, so PSA is a grading service. Graded 10. His 2004-2005 Mega Cracks rookie card sold for $42,107 on the 24th of February, and at the time of recording, that was last week. So that is ridiculous. The second player, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, Cristiano Ronaldo. His BGS 9.5. Now, BGS is Beckett. It is another grading service. I'll talk a bit more about the grading services later on. But his 2003 Mega Cracks Liga 1 Sporting Lisbon card, his rookie card for Sporting Lisbon, which is in the Portuguese league, sold for $85,100 US on the same day, on the 24th of February 2021. Now, there is a lot of back and forth. Who would be the better investment, Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo? In my opinion, they're both as safe as houses. If I had the money, if I suddenly just had the money, my man is Cristiano Ronaldo. And I said that way earlier in the podcast. He's my man. Love him to death. I think what he's done across 3 leagues has been nothing short of extraordinary. Not taking anything away from Lionel Messi. But I would have loved to see Lionel Messi play in another league in his prime. Cristiano Ronaldo played in 2 big leagues in his prime, the EPL and La Liga, before going on to Serie A, which I believe would be in his twilight years, but he's still knocking goals about. In fact, this morning, he scored 20 goals in the Serie A. He's the first player in history to score 20 goals in a season over 3 big leagues, which is ridiculous. So I'm expecting the price of his cards to go up just by that stat alone. And don't get me started on if this team wins the Champions League. By this team, I mean being Juventus. Lionel Messi still at Barcelona. I don't see Barcelona winning a Champions League anytime soon due to financial issues, due to the fact that I think as a team they have crumbled. For a team as smart as Barcelona, their player personnel management hasn't been the best. But that's another debate for a different day. But going back to Cristiano Ronaldo, his 2003 Mega Cracks Sporting Lisbon Portuguese Liga rookie card, $85,000, which shows its rarity. If you're listening in Portugal and you have these cards, go for it. Put them on eBay. Go get them graded. You're sitting on a gold mine. Those are the big fish. But I've got 2 more big fish, which I believe, in my opinion, is going to be the next Messi-Ronaldo competition over the next 10 years or so. The first one is obvious. It's Kylian Mbappe. He's a PSG. He plays at PSG. He's a French winger. His PSA 10 rookie sticker, which was in the 2006 Panini Soccer Football Series, sold on the 26th of February, so 2 days after Messi and Ronaldo's rookie cards were sold for over 40 grand each. This sticker, I repeat, his rookie sticker sold, PSA 10, for $15,751 on the 26th of February. That is unbelievable. Now, when we go into our next big fish, I consider him to be a big fish, and I actually think that the market hasn't caught up with the value of this player at the moment. It's actually ridiculous that it hasn't. His name is Erling Haaland. He is a Norwegian striker. He, in my opinion, is a combination of Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Thierry Henry. He's a tall, dynamic, very quick player. He has power in the box. He has finesse. His touch is just extraordinary. And he can do it all, in my opinion. The only thing I think that will set him back in his career is out of his control. And that's the fact that he's Norwegian. He plays for the Norwegian national team. And obviously, when you compare to Cristiano Ronaldo, who's a Portuguese player, and they have a great, rich pedigree of championships and making big tournaments, you've got Lionel Messi, obviously, for Argentina, Kylian Mbappe, obviously, for France, who's going through an absolute golden generation at the moment. Haaland at Norway might be the difference, but I still think that he's currently at Borussia Dortmund. I can see him moving to the Premier League. I can see him making a lot of noise. I think this man is going down the same pathway as Zlatan, who was Swedish, who didn't make that many tournaments due to the fact that it was the Swedish national team, so they had a lot of, what would you call it? I would say that they just struggled in qualifications for European championships and World Cups more than obviously Portugal, Argentina or France have. that being said, I digress. His PSA 10 Topps Finest Champions League card, which is arguably his rookie card, at RB Salzburg, his base card is sold PSA 10 for $1,650. And that was sold on the 22nd of February. Like I said, guys, compared to $15,000 for a sticker or $42,000 or $80,000, it doesn't seem like much. Why are you saying, why are you bringing him up as the big fish? Trust me, guys, invest in this guy because he will be the next big thing. He is already the next big thing. He's very young. Him and Mbappe, I think, will have a very good competitive battle, very similarly to Ronaldo and Messi. There's also players such as Mukoko, who plays for Borussia Dortmund. There's a lot of Jude Bellingham, a lot of Borussia Dortmund players, a lot of youngsters that I will bring up in the future in future podcasts that I think are just worth it and are definitely going to be up in the upper echelon of elite players in their peak. But I think these are the two that I'm personally collecting as well at the moment, and I'm possibly investing in. Haaland and Mbappe are my players, and that's a perfect segue now to get into my personal tips on investing and personal collecting. Now, guys, I'm not an expert. Like I said, I've been back in the card game for about a year. I don't know as much as anyone else does. Please don't take these to gospel, but this is from my experience over the last 12 months. These are the tips that I told myself and I wrote down for myself once I eased back into the market and I knew what I was doing, especially when I got into the soccer market. These were my tips. Now, the first tips I'm going to give are tips on investing. So for people that are keen on entering the market to make a little bit of money and see the players and the cards as stock, these are my tips on how to do it properly. Now, the first one is a big one. It's to aim for the money positions. And by money positions, I mean the positions that are noticeable in the value of players in the card market. Now, with these money positions, I've noted down 3. So the first one is strikers. So an example of strikers is Erling Haaland. They're the big dogs. They're the guys that are going to hit the ball through the back of the net. They're going to score the goals. They're going to be the poster boys of the market. The second one are attacking wingers. And this obviously came back to Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, and Kylian Mbappe. Now, when I say attacking wingers, I don't necessarily mean wingers that know how to cross a ball. I'm talking about more the inverted wingers, the wingers that cut inside and cause a lot of havoc for the defenders. So, or in Football Manager terms, inside forwards. So these inside forwards / inverted wingers that I'm talking about are Cristiano Ronaldo, are Lionel Messi, and are Kylian Mbappe. They are my 3 examples. Those are the 2 main money positions that you should concentrate on if you are to invest in the sport and in the card market. Strikers and attacking wingers. And the third one is attacking midfielders. We're talking about Eden Hazard. More recently, I'm a really big fan of Martin Odegaard. I think he's going to be very, very special. He's only 21 and I feel like he's been around for 7-8 years. He basically was. He was signed at Real Madrid at a very young age. But he is an example of an attacking midfielder that I think can rise up in value once he gets a little bit of fluidity into his game. He's now currently on loan at Arsenal. I just feel like the attacking midfielders are huge investment opportunities and a bonus if they can score nice free kicks. I guess the market has been accustomed to nice free kick takers. They love the free kick takers and someone that can do something dazzling. They love a play with flair. So those are my 3 guys. I'll recap. Strikers, attacking wingers. So I'm talking about inverted wingers or inside forwards, and attacking midfielders. Those are the 3. The positions that have low investment ceilings are central defensive midfielders, centre backs, central midfielders in general, and goalkeepers. These positions, I'd say, are more for personal collection, and they're not flashy. So central defensive midfielders, one big example is N'Golo Kante. Why this man and his cards are not valued higher than what they are right now is baffling. But it came to me that I just don't think the market recognises central defensive midfielders. So if you're looking to invest in N'Golo Kante or Sandro Tonali, who I'll be talking about in my Serie A episode, hopefully in next week, is that just no one recognises the hard-working players in a soccer team or in a football team. They want the flary players. So centre-backs as well. Virgil van Dijk, possibly the greatest centre-back that I've ever seen, probably next to Nemanja Vidic. He's the value of his cards. We're talking about base cards or base variants. We're not talking about autograph cards or one-of-ones. We're just simply talking about their base and possible variants, refractors, prisms. That Virgil van Dijk's cards will never live up to that hype unless he's going to be numbered or unless he has an autograph next to it. And even with autographs next to it, I still don't think that it's going to go as high as a forward or a winger or an inside forward. Next one, your central midfielders, your box-to-box, your playmakers. Well, I'm talking about Andrea Pirlo. He's a big one for me. He's one that, in my opinion, Paul Scholes is another one, in my opinion. Paul Scholes was my favourite central midfielder. And I don't think his cards will ever go as high as David Beckham, because he was more a winger, right midfielder that loved to cross. And I feel like the value of David Beckham's cards have been compromised a bit due to his Hollywood flair, is what I'd like to sort of put that down to. But Scholes as a box-to-box midfielder or a central playmaker, players like that, Michael Carrick, Thiago for Liverpool, I'm just still going. Leon Goretzka is one of my favourites that plays for Germany. I don't think his cards will ever live up to the hype. No, his cards will ever go as high. Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, these players should be as high as they are now, but they were just central midfielders. So when you compare them to wingers or strikers, I don't think they'll ever go as high. So that's also, in my opinion, a real big personal collection sort of position, and that's the first tip on investing, the aim of the money positions, and that is striker, inverted wingers, inside forwards, or attacking midfielders. Now, my second tip, only invest if you have a deep knowledge of the world game. Don't come in thinking you know everything, and I say that bluntly, and I say that with all due respect to anyone that's listening. If you don't know the game, or if you don't watch the game, I'm not saying if you don't watch it religiously, then get the hell out of here. I'm just saying, if you've got to have some inkling of the game, you've got to enjoy the game, you've got to enjoy the sport. Because if you enjoy the sport and you enjoy the game, you enjoy the hobby, you enjoy investing in these players, and you want to watch them play, and you want to see how they go and how they progress. It's fantastic. So only invest if you have that knowledge, if you know the teams, if you know the players, if you know the leagues. My third one, do not jump off a player if they've had a bad game or two. You're in it for the long haul as an investor. You know, if you want to be a quick investor or a day-to-day stock trader in that sense, then by all means go for it. But if you really want to truly be an investor and reap the benefits in, say, 5 to 10 years, hopefully if the bubble has not burst by then, don't jump off a player that you feel that you like but has had a bad couple of games. It's different in NFL and NBA, but in football, it's just a whole different kettle of fish. I would say if you are to invest and there is a player that has gone from one team to another in a lesser league or has sort of lost himself, that's a 12-month thing. I would say go off him there. If you feel like he's made the bad move, go into another club. James Rodriguez, huge example, back in 2014, was touted as the next big thing. And he went to Real Madrid. He then went to Bayern Munich, and then everything sort of went sour. He was kind of a bench warmer. That's my guy. Once he went to Bayern Munich, I had to shut him off on loan. And now he's at Everton. He's playing very well, don't get me wrong. But when we're talking about investment, I don't think he was the best investment after all. My fourth tip, if you feel a player is overvalued and will be a potential bust, back your gut. And don't invest based on the market pressure. So I've got a big one. My big man, one player that I feel is overvalued and might be potential bust. And there is absolutely no disrespect to this player because he is a fantastic player. But to me, I've never quite I've never just quite felt the hype of him. His name is Ansu Fati. He plays for Barcelona. He's Spanish. He has broken records left, right, and centre. One of the youngest players to ever play in the Champions League. One of the youngest players to ever play for the Spanish national team. He's a bona fide superstar. I'll give him that. He's doing really, really well. But I just have a feeling about a player like Ansu Fati. A player that has just got so much expectation on his shoulders. Hasn't really proved himself on a national or an international scale. He's been pretty damn good for Barcelona when needed in the La Liga. I just don't think he's that player for me. So I don't want to put people off for investing in Ansu Fati cards. I'm just saying that is just my personal gut feel on this player. And that goes back to you guys. If you feel a player is overvalued, but the market pressure is going, hey, maybe I should have pounced on this guy. He's going to be gangbusters. Your first reaction of a player is always the right one, in my opinion. When I heard a lot about Ansu Fati, I did watch watch the way he played. I watched some Barcelona games. I think he's a great player. I just don't feel that he will be consistently that good over time. Remember, he's very young, so maybe the pressures might be on him. He's actually going through second knee surgery as well. He's had a second knee injury that might see him through to Euros, whenever that may be, hopefully May, June, as expected. But will he be the same player? I don't know. So here's my play. So if you feel a player might be a potential bust, or you feel like he's overvalued and you don't really see why there's hype, then don't touch him. Fifth one, stick to your personal budget. Don't buy it if you can't afford it. That's pretty substandard. Financially, you need to see yourself and you need to reassess. If you see a good card that's worth a lot of money, but you want to invest in, but you don't have the money, don't put yourself under that pressure. Simple as that. Number 6, find base cards that could grade 8 to 10, ideally 9 to 10 for a cheaper investment rather than slabbed cards. So if you don't have that budget to buy a card that's already graded, or as we like to call them, slabbed cards, then buy a base card. Buy a card that's raw, as we like to call it, and then make the decision on yourself if you want to grade it. Just do your due diligence, do your research if you think it's going to grade well. And the 7th one, and the last one, if you want to slab on the intention of investing, I suggest PSA grading. Simple as that. Now, I'll quickly go through my tips on personal collecting, guys, and then I'll go through my first league, which I'm very excited to tell you about. We've already gone past half an hour, so hopefully I haven't bored anyone so far. But my tips on personal collecting: focus on players that have sentimental value to you. And that's the first thing that I said. That is the big distinction between personal collecting and investing. Investing is more looking at a player as an investment and as money. Personal collecting is looking at a player that had sentimental value to you. If you grew up watching them as a kid and you loved watching them play for your club or for your nation. My personal ones are, like I said, Cristiano Ronaldo, Paul Scholes, Ruud van Nistelrooy. He's my man. He's my favourite player, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Tim Cahill, Mark Viduka. Obviously, being Australian and them being Australian Socceroos, you can get those cards for cheap and you can feel happy knowing that they're in your collection. I always love seeing a Tim Cahill card in my collection. Aaron Moyes, another one. And the modern ones more, Marcus Rashford, Erling Haaland, Sandro Tonali is one of my favourite ones, and I cannot wait to talk about him next week in our Serie A episode. Number 2, realise the difference between collecting and investing. So, a player you want to build a PC on may not have high value in the marketplace, but that's the distinction. Ruud van Nistelrooy, in my opinion, doesn't have high value, being a past legendary player of Manchester United. Unless it's an autograph, his base cards, his rookie stickers, they were all pretty cheap for me to purchase. And that's the distinction between collecting and investing. When I see this player and their stickers in my collection and I go through and I catalogue, I always sit back and I just look at and I remember what he did. Another one of mine is the Euro 2004 Golden Ball winner, Theodoros Zagorakis. He was the captain of the Greek national team. The first tournament that made me fall in love with the game was this tournament. And Zagorakis was, being a Greek Australian, I was in awe of him. And always, when I got back into collecting last year, I wanted to buy his first sticker. I wanted to buy his first card. I wanted to buy his Euro 2004 sticker. I went out and got that. Got them all, I think under $10 Australian. That's not including postage, but I got them and I love them. And I feel that they're more valuable to me than any other valuable card that I have because I've got that sentimental value. Number 3, if you want to slap on the intention of personal collection or PC, go Beckett or BGS. Don't go PSA. PSA is for investing. BGS slabbing is for personal collecting. And the last one, guys, enjoy it. It is a hobby after all. Enjoy the nostalgia. Enjoy the fun. If you can afford to buy a box, enjoy the rip. There's nothing better than buying a box, opening them up, and having a good time. You know, I get that with Australian football cards. I get them with soccer cards as well. I do a lot of breaks, and I've got to say my biggest joy is opening a box in a box break and getting a card that is of unbelievable value. I remember the 2006 hobby box that I opened up, the World Cup hobby box that I opened up I think 2 months ago or 3 months ago, and Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi both opened in the packs, and there was just nothing better. Opening boxes are so much fun, and packs, and that's what it's all about, guys. So those are my tips. I will also put both of these tips on investing and personal collecting in the thread where I'll be advertising this podcast as well on my group page, Round Ball Breaks. For those that would like to copy and paste and sort of have it as a equivalent of a 10 commandments. I have this as well, and I live by these tips, and I've created them. But that is it. After this short message, I'll be going through my future star round ball analysis on, drumroll, the Austrian Tipico Bundesliga. Ladies and gentlemen, a quick public service announcement before our next segment. Here to remind you all of a nice little card website dedicated to all cards, soccer, NBA, Pokemon, NFL, and other sports that you would be interested in. It is called Harbour Collectibles, based in New South Wales, and developed and created and founded by a couple of Greek Australian lads, much like myself. A couple of nice brothers that have dedicated their lives now to everything cardboard. They have a website. They also have a Facebook group page dedicated to breaks, mainly NBA and soccer. Their name, again, is Harbour Collectibles. Please check them out. They've got a lot of product in stock. They've got some 2019-2020 Topps Chrome UEFA Champions League hobby boxes priced at $999.95. They've got Panini Clearly Donruss basketball hobby boxes for $589.95. Some Panini Prism football multi-packs going for $39.99. And a lot, and I mean a lot, of breaks on the horizon, mainly centered around basketball and the world game. Again, guys, they are Harbour Collectibles. That is Harbour Collectibles, all one word, .com.au, or find them on Facebook, Harbour City Collectibles, for all your world game and basketball cardboard needs. Okay, guys, to quickly finish the inaugural episode of the Round Ball podcast, I hope I haven't bored you all too much, but this is the most exciting bit. This is what everyone should be expecting with the podcast in the future. It is my future star analysis, and I'll be going through a league every single week and reminding and highlighting all the future stars and who to look for in regards to soccer card investing or football/soccer personal collecting. If you're looking to find a new personal collection player, or if you're looking to make a little bit of money or to follow a new player in a certain league, this is what I'll be dedicating it all to. And without further ado, the league that I'll be focusing on for the next 5 to 10 minutes is the Austrian Tipico Bundesliga, which has seen some absolutely fantastic stars come out in the past, more noticeably Erling Haaland, who played at RB Salzburg and Dominik Szoboszlai. I hope I pronounced his name right. I'll have to check that again when I do my German Bundesliga episode in the upcoming week, because he will be definitely a pinnacle of that episode, who also played at RB Salzburg. There have been some great players, like I said, but I've highlighted 3 that are currently playing in this league at the moment, and 3 that I think you should be looking at, not only this year, but in the next 5 or so years. Because who knows, they might be staying there, but in my opinion, I'm looking at these future stars and I'm pointing these guys out. They may be transferring to another big league in the near future. The first one is one who is 22 years old. He hails from Africa, and most people don't really know about this player. They might be starting to recognise him due to his amazing goal-scoring prowess. His name is Patson Daka, who plays at RB Salzburg. 22 years of age, like I said. He's from Zambia, and his position, striker. A very opportunistic one as well. His strengths are his pace. He's a very clinical finisher inside the box. And to add on to that, his off-ball work rate is quite elite as well, due to his stamina and pace. He's very athletic. He's naturally athletic and a good passer for a striker as well. Those strengths alone is basically the cornerstone of what I was talking about earlier on who to invest in. You're looking at a striker with flair. This guy is a striker with flair. His main weaknesses are dribbling. He lacks an aerial threat, and he's not very versatile. He can only play as a striker, but that's all you need, especially if you're scoring goals at will like he is. Here's his 2021 stats at the moment. In the Austrian Bundesliga, he's made 15 appearances, he's scored 17 goals, and he's given 5 assists as well. Remarkable. More than a goal a game. In the Champions League, he's made 4 appearances and only produced the 1 assist, which might, put some people off. Why can't he do it in the Champions League? But it's RB Salzburg, so they were always going to be a small fish in a very big pond that is the biggest European competition in the world. His 2020 stats were quite impressive as well. He had 31 appearances in the Austrian Bundesliga, scored 24 goals, had 8 assists, and averaged 61 minutes per game. Now, his sticker to watch is the Fußball 1920 Austrian Bundesliga set. Number 31 is Patson Daka's rookie sticker. Number 31 in the set. His card to watch, in my opinion, is one that you can get quite cheap at base. It is the Topps Finest 1920 Champions League card. Number 56, also playing for RB Salzburg. This is a great card to watch. This is one to buy now. You can get it for under $15 Australian. You can also get his base variants and numbered cards for under $100 as well. So a very good investment is Patson Daka, and a very exciting player. If you do happen to have the Austrian Bundesliga stream somewhere, watch a Salzburg game, watch this man play. Alternatively, go on YouTube, check out his highlight. He is terrific. The second one is an American. He's an American winger, and his name is Brenden Aaronson, who also plays for RB Salzburg, who more recently came there from the Philadelphia Union in Major League Soccer in the MLS. He's 20 years of age, he's American, and his strengths, he's just got a lot of pace and acceleration. He has a great overall work rate, much like Daka. Being American, this is the big strength for him from an investment potential. He's in a country where a lot more eyes are looking and a lot more investors are, and it is probably the mecca of the marketplace. Americans will find another American, and if they become good enough, they will pounce on him. Look at Christian Pulisic. He's probably middle of the pack when it comes to players, but because he's American, there are a lot more eyes on him. Brenden Aaronson will get that same recognition and awareness of soccer card collectors, especially in America, and for those in Australia or wherever you're watching that want to pounce and want to take advantage of the market. I feel like Brenden Aaronson is that player. He's at Salzburg. He's made that step from the MLS to the Austrian Bundesliga, which I think is a perfect move for him. And if he continues playing the way he's playing, he might even go up. But you just got to be wary. If he does go too high up, will he be a bench warmer? So track this man. track his progression. His weaknesses, defensive abilities, he's a weak tackler, he's got a very light frame, and he's 5'10", so he lacks that aerial threat, but he's a very small, zippy player who can play high up the ground. His 2021 stats aren't as appealing. 7 appearances in the Austrian Bundesliga, 1 goal, 1 assist. In the Europa League, only 2 appearances. He's got no stickers at the moment, which is interesting, but his card to watch, the card to get, is a card from the Topps Finest set of 2020. It's the Topps Bowman card, which you'd think is just a baseball set, but no, Topps Bowman brought out a Topps On Demand set. Number 7 is his card number, and he's playing for the Philadelphia Union. So the 2020 Topps Bowman set, MLS, card number 7. That's the card to watch. That's the card to invest in, especially with numbered variants. Numbered variants are going as high as 400 Australian dollars, which is ridiculous. But that is Brendan Aronson. That is another player to look for. And my final player, for those that play Football Manager, can adhere to this. His name is Yusuf Demir. He plays for Rapid Vienna. And I've got to admit, I'm a big fan of Football Manager. I play it religiously. And I do see these wonder kids coming up and I go, oh, okay, he is one to very much look out for. When I see a player or when I see a YouTube video of a certain player, I like to sort of watch them play, get their highlights and see what all the hype is about. I don't trust anything based purely on a video game, but at the same time, it's a great indicator and it's a great way to nudge yourself in the right direction. But this player, Yusuf Demir, he's Austrian, plays for Rapid Vienna. His position is an attacking midfielder or a winger playing as an inside forward. So he's a very versatile player. He's an excellent dribbler. Flair is the aim of his game. He's got a lot of technique. He's an excellent passer. He's very creative and he's versatile, like I said. And he's got pace. All these wrapped together could make the makings of a superstar. He's only 17. So it's a great way to sort of look around and go, hey, can I get this play before he becomes very, very, very good? His weaknesses, he does have a bit of a light frame. He's easy to outmuscle. Sporadic decision maker when I've watched him play, and he can get a little bit flustered, but that's what you get from a 17-year-old, as well as the light frame. He'll build into that. He'll get more confidence, and he could very well be one of the most promising attacking midfielders in Europe. His 2021 stats as a 17-year-old, he's had 15 appearances, scored 3 goals, had 2 assists. In the Europa League, he's had 4 appearances and has scored 1 goal. I won't solidify these stats based on goals and assists in the future. By the way, guys, I will try and get more in depth. I'll probably add some XG in there and, just to show you all how good these players are. But Yusuf Demir is a player who's had 15 appearances and has scored 3 goals and had 2 assists as a 17-year-old in the Austrian Bundesliga. In a league that has a lot of experienced footballers and very strong footballers. That's just a plus for me. And I can't wait to see what else he can do. His sticker to watch is the 2019-20 Panini Bundesliga Austria sticker. It's number 53 in the set. I might have actually made a mistake. It might be the 2020/21 Panini Bundesliga set. I'll double check for that. There's still no real card that has been released, or none that I can find. So if anyone can find a Yusuf Demir card, please nudge it in my direction. But that is Yusuf Demir. So to add it, to combine all these players, again, my top 3 to watch in the Austrian Tipico Bundesliga are Patson Daka, a striker at RB Salzburg, 22 years old. Brendan Aronson, a 20-year-old American who can play as a right winger. And finally, Yusuf Demir, a 17-year-old Austrian who can play as an attacking mid or an inside forward. And with that, guys, that is the end of the podcast. So a huge thank you to everyone that listened. A huge thank you to everyone that has supported me through the opening days of my breaks page as well, and has jumped on board and listened to me rant on about soccer and football and the world of football cardboard for the last, what are we on now? 50 minutes. Boy, oh boy. Hopefully I haven't bored anyone too much to the point where they will unsubscribe, but Guys, that is it. Thank you very much. Again, Round Ball Breaks. You can find us on Facebook. And feel free to join the group. Feel free to spread the love around. Feel free to subscribe and also like and share this podcast as well. The more listeners, the better. And also a thank you to our unpaid sponsor, Harbour Collectibles, for letting me give them that plug and their continued support. So with that, guys, the German Bundesliga special next week. As I said, I did mention the Italian Serie A Bundesliga special. They'll both be recorded next week, but I think the Serie A special will be released in a couple of weeks. So very excited for that as well, due to the fact that one of my favourite youngsters is in that league. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Remember, Round Ball Breaks, Harbour Collectibles, and we hope you have a good rest of your week and see you next week.